got a fun episode. Steven and I kind of riffing on a bunch of different stuff, from credit card spend and getting the most from your business spend to be for points, cash back, travel, whatever you have it. A really cool new robot from MHM, and a quote from Alex Hormozi. We're going to dive into that. But first, Steven, you want to kick us off?
We've got some sponsors, and this podcast would not be possible without our amazing sponsors. And who do we want to start with?
GraphX Source. If you need a solution to help improve efficiency and reduce costs in your art department, GraphX offers industry-leading outsourcing options for your shop by truly becoming a part of your team. They plug and play with Printavo or any other shop management solution to be able to handle SEPs, mock-ups, creative art, order management, digitizing, customer service, all of that good stuff. Campus Inc., I think you're running 4 designers. We always don't know the number 5. Okay.
Nick always texts me to correct me. Sorry, Nick.
5. Mention Printavo Pod 24. That gets you 50% off your first vector SEP or embroidery order.
Bruce, have you heard of Multicraft_Daddy? If you need ink supplies or a daddy, Multicraft Screen Printing and Digital Supplies for over 50 years has been providing you with top brands at competitive prices. You can mention the Printavo podcast and receive an extra 10% off your order. But Bruce, I think Dave wants to switch it up a little bit, and he wants to give away even more. He sent me a list. I don't know if I can disclose this yet, but I'm going to do it. And he said on the next episode, he would like to give away 24 rolls of PMI tape, daddy split tape, 1 single gallon of Techmar TBHV, 1 single gallon of Murakami HV or HVP emulsion, 1 single gallon of white ink, 1 single gallon of black ink. It could be either Monarch or Wilflex. I repeat, this is a big giveaway. Probably over $500-$600 worth of stuff. DM Dave Eggers if you want it. He's going to pick a winner. Sorry, Dave, we dropped the contest. Here we go. All right, Bruce. Who's next?
Send your email to him. You got to send your email though to him, or else that's how you enter. Supercolor. Supercolor is the world's best heat transfer made for screen printers by screen printers. So actually, my wife got her Supercolor new pack of transfers in. They understand the pressures and expectations of a screen printing business. That's why they pride themselves on being super fast and super easy. Not only that, they've got an awesome support team. Super fast over email, no pun intended. And any issues or things that come up, they're there. Supercolor helps you make it. Mention Printavo 15. That gets you 15% off your first order.
All right, easy way. Spending hours cleaning screens is a thing of the past. With EasyWay's screen printing and screen cleaning chemicals, their innovative formulas are designed to work quickly and effectively so you can spend less time cleaning and more time creating. Plus, EasyWay is passionate about empowering printers of all skill levels. They offer helpful resources and expert advice to help you succeed in the screen printing industry. I spent a lot of time recently with Alex, saw him twice in a month. And the best part about EasyWay is they work with so many distributors and they're just here to help you. So hit them up. Thanks so much, EasyWay. We appreciate you. Let's get to the podcast.
When do you upgrade your flights and when do you not? So, as an owner, I think, especially someone who travels a lot for work, travel can get really tiring. And so if there's a way to make it easier, then it's probably worth it. But obviously, first class can be very expensive just right out of the gate. And most people, I think, are using credit card points wisely. And if you're not, by the way, maybe we should step back and just talk about credit card points for a second. If you're not getting an insane amount of credit card points, you're doing it wrong. I'll tell about my credit card stack, and then Farag, you want to talk about your stack first, or what you guys have done to
why don't you go first, Bruce?
Okay. First, there's 2 things. Number 1, we would get the Southwest Companion Pass. So that means that you get the Southwest credit card or 2 or 3 of their credit cards, and you just spend through the limit that you need. Usually it's something like $5,000 in 3 months, and then you get Companion. What Companion means is that one guest that you set up on your account can fly free. So spouse, friend, family, whatever. that works great. And we use that for, certain places. The other thing that we did is we picked a dedicated airline that we really liked. So American Airlines flew out of LAX a lot. They also flew out of Chicago a lot. And so I got the highest credit card for American Airlines. It's a city credit card, and you get the most redemption back for points. Plus you get upgrades. You're in the queue for a lot of upgrades. And that means that you get the premium, call it premium economy, or sometimes it's just like front row facing seats. You get those for free. And lastly, you get queued up for first class upgrades for free. So the more you spend on that American Airlines credit card, the more you get leveled up to get those upgrades for free. Lastly, you get access to the lounges, which I kind of liked because some of the lounges are actually pretty nice.
Bruce,
and you can get
didn't
good
you
work
cancel
done.
it recently?
I did because I'm not there anymore. I'm not traveling like that. I'm on the travel less flights, less stuff. So that's what I would do. And then I'd work at the lounges to really get that done. So that was a credit card. The credit card, I think, was maybe $450 a year, which sounds like a lot for an annual fee, but you get a lot back. You get a travel credit back. A couple upgrades pays for it that you get back. And really, to get to the end of this story is that it's all about convenience and comfort, especially if you're having to start flying a lot for work or for trade shows or events or live print, whatever you're doing, or even just for family. This extends to be able to use all of those points that you spend every single month to take your family and your friends on different trips. All right, that's our stack. What was yours, or is yours?
So we have basically 3 cards. First one we use the most is our Sparks business card. It's the blue card. You get a certain amount of points per spend, but you can redeem it on any travel or any hotels. And it's got a pretty good redemption. So you could do Airbnbs, you could do hotels, you could do airlines. You book with any airline you want, and then you go back through and just like wipe it. And me and my business partner really like that because, it'll cover the Disney trip for his grandkids every year, covered some big trips that I've taken, international trips. And occasionally what I'll do is splurge on travel for our team, right? And so if it means getting a nicer Airbnb or something a little bit nicer, sometimes we'll use it there. That credit card, several $100,000 a month. And so, we're amassing an insane amount of points on there. Now, I've heard some business owners using the Sparks Green card that also gives you cash back. That is
2%.
2%, and I believe
use that one as well.
Tax free.
Yeah,
so you get a check.
You don't pay
at the
taxes
end of the year.
on that. That actually was proven in court. Someone was sued by the IRS, and they fought against it and won because it's not declared as income.
Right. So that's pretty cool. And then we use the Amex Gold Card just for shipping or just for logistics. So anything shipping, UPS, stamps, Easy Post, FedEx.
Why that one?
It used to, and I need to shop it again. It used to be 4-1 in one category, and shipping was included in there. So we get 4-1 points there.
Wow.
And so we would just create, but then you have to redeem those through Amex Travel, which I think is a nice feature, and you can upgrade and stuff like that. And then we have the United Explorer business card, the highest business card on United. And we try to fly exclusively on United for the company and for myself, for all the same reasons that you talked about, Bruce. I probably travel 2 to 3 times a month. And for me, I like to spend the least amount of time in an airport, and I like to be in and out as quickly as possible. And by putting kind of all your eggs in one basket, for the most part, they give you the best experience possible. And
you use the lounges?
I use the lounges a ton. I literally go in there, eat really quickly, and then go to my gate, right? And
because the food's free there too, right?
Food is free there too, and it's really when you get in a pinch, or you have to take a meeting, or your flight gets delayed, or flight gets delayed, go to the lounge, whatever. The rationale that I have for the lounges looks something like this. Every time you go to the airport, you're going to spend money on food or an overpriced water bottle, and you're going to spend, I don't know, $20 to $30, right? And so if you travel a handful of times, spending, $400, $500 on an annual card that gets you lounge access just means you're going to go to the lounge and eat for free. And so if I look at the spend that I have at a lounge, if I look at the spend at an airport, I spend literally nothing at an airport because I go right in the lounge, I eat, and then I head out. So it's like a free meal, basically. And it has come in handy so many different times on so many different occasions. And again, it's a convenience thing. It's nice to be able to board a plane early. It's nice to be able to call, support when you need help. I mess up flights all the time, and United bails me out because we pay a premium to work with them. And so it's pretty cool. The other tool on travel that I'll talk about is Flighty. You just told me about Flighty.
It's a really great app. I don't know. Do they have an Android app? Let me check.
I don't know. If you use an Android, but Flighty's cool because it connects to your email. It connects to your calendar. You can forward any flight to it, and it tracks lifetime, how many miles you have, what airplanes you fly. It kind of tells you where you can check in. It's like all of your flights on one thing. It's called Flighty. Bruce, you just showed it to me.
FlightyApp.com. I think it's just iOS. Pretty amazing, just to organize everything, keep everything in one spot.
Bruce, what's the most flight on plane for you?
Probably the 7 whatever Max, the one with the doors always coming off.
The Southwest, the 737 Max.
Probably now it is. It used to be whatever the American, which I think are also the Boeing 737 Maxes. I didn't also realize this until later with the points and the spend. So do this earlier, like spend just 2 hours, 1 hour of, hey, where am I spending when we're purchasing things? What credit cards am I using, and what am I getting for that spend? Because you should be getting something back, whether it's extra points and points bonuses or cash back of around 2% or even slightly more. So,
Bruce, did you feel guilty being the owner of a business and getting the perks from that?
I did not feel guilty, but I did not talk about it because, you could take it, but I don't know. It's your credit card. It's your spend. It's interesting. I worked at a company a while ago, and I remember he put his credit card down for all the hosting and everything. It was a software company, and he, racked up a ton of points right away. But then I realized it was his risk of also paying off that credit card every month. So It's easy just to see the benefit of it, but you don't see the the balance every single month.
Yeah, I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that at like group dinners and be like, I'll take all the points. Everyone Venmo me. I don't like that. I just it's not my thing. I don't know. Unless you're
with
really
friends,
good.
I don't mind it. Definitely not company stuff.
Yeah. It just depends. I just don't like seeing like a crazy number on my credit card bill and be like, oh yeah, it's because I put down $1,200 for a crazy dinner or something like that.
It screws out the rocket money.
It screws up the rocket money. Exactly. It screws up the rocket money. But no, I feel no guilt. I work really freaking hard at work, and one of the perks of owning a company is getting the reward of it. And you should absolutely benefit from owning a company and being able to rack up points. I've heard good things about the Chase Ink card as well. If you have
that we used.
If you have a good card hack, send us a note. All right.
Drop a comment.
Yeah.
You sent me this really cool video from MHM. I'm just going to try to pop this up real quick, actually. So if you're on YouTube, you could be able to see it. If not, we'll talk through it. This is from MHM Screenprinting. They released a product called the Shirt. I was going to say Fluffer. It's not. Lupfer.
Loofer?
I think I'm saying it right.
Loofer?
Right. You can see the video. Steven, you want to talk through what you're seeing? So there's a PDF that's interesting that I actually started reading through. It appears that this is like and hopefully they can correct me if I'm missing anything here. This is like a foundation for automating. It looks like removing shirts off the platen, which remember M&R has, what is that product?
The passport
that comes off that also does it. But it seems like this is also foundational equipment that can be used to program to do other stuff as well. So they partnered up with a robotics company. There's like a bit of an arm that slides under the shirt to pull it off. And then these little fingers come, they slide the shirt off and can lay it on a surface after, which would be like a dryer. They don't have an exact one here, but the demo video, that's what's happening. You can actually see a lot more info. They've got this PDF here that talks a little bit more about this robotics partnership. What did this mean to you when you saw it? Because you sent it to me.
First of all, I thought the video was sick. On first glance, I was just really impressed by the video. Yeah. I don't think today we could ever afford this. I don't think we would ever buy this today. We don't use MHM presses. I think if you were to look into a glass ball 10 years from now, 15 years from now, if this is the technology today that's being introduced, what's it going to look like in 10 to 15 years from now? Right. And it's almost like you're watching a sci-fi video, right? You're like, oh, yeah, this is like the future. But if you think about it, sci-fi fiction is what has turned into crazy inventions, right? Mm-hmm. You know, if you were to look at a sci-fi from 10 or 15 years ago and there were tablets and cars and things that look like crazy rocket ships, like that's what's now a reality. And so I think for really, you know, companies that are really, really cutting edge are going to look at this and say, ooh, there's a labor reduction right there. If I can spend $100,000 on this and I don't have to have an employee there and it can pay itself off in a couple of years and the lifetime of this machine is 10 years, well, this is a no-brainer, right? I was recently at Printful. I went and visited their facilities in North Carolina. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. 32.
Yeah, talk about that.
32 cornets, 32 Atlas cornets, the most clean space I think I've ever seen in a production facility. Everyone on tablets, scanning barcodes. You know, if Scott from King Screen was there, he would have had a lean, his brain would have exploded from how lean it was, right? But the way they think about things is like they called their cornets a fleet, like airplanes, like they're Boeing 747s or something like that. It's like, yeah, we're introducing a new fleet and then we're going to bring this fleet in and we're testing this thing over here. And I just thought about it. I'm like, okay, this is 2024. What's this place going to look like in 2036? Right. It's going to be like a SpaceX by then. And so technology is only going to get advanced. And I think being conscious of this stuff, being open-minded about it, not rejecting it, but just being thoughtful about it is probably the best approach we can take right now. I don't know who's going to jump the gun on this.
Were they all DTG machines?
All DTGs. In Mexico, they run DTF, DTG, cut and sew, and then they ran embroidery. They do on-demand puff embroidery, which is wild, on-demand patches, which is wild. And just the way they've solved every problem, you're like, oh, okay, that's next level thinking. All right.
I'm assuming they've built software to, you know, fully integrate the website and everything. It's all custom and
it's all their own technology. Yeah, it's a sight to see. Maybe at some point we can do a shop tour of it, but it was something else, super, super special. Anyways, that's what this kind of made me think of. And I thought MHM did a nice job of it. It'll be cool to see what's happening there.
It says the removal, you use it in conjunction with the removal robot. It's born from the singular mission to redefine and elevate mundane, repetitive tasks by cutting those out and increasing efficiency. So, I mean, you know, Ross from Rock had talked about this, which is they're literally in development or very close to selling a robot to place transfers and peel transfers off out there, the Rock Impress.
Bruce, have you seen like fast food or fast casual companies and their robotic simulations that they're working on? Like, did you see the one with Chipotle?
No, I didn't see that. I've seen the AI, you know, like order takers, but I haven't seen.
I think it might have been Sweet Green or Chipotle that's like they have developed a fully automatic Chipotle, the fully automated one where you don't have human interaction.
So everything is taken from the order before instead of, I'm assuming, you know, like how you talk to them now, you're talking through the process while they're going through and making your burrito.
Yeah. And then it's all robotically ran.
You know, this gets a little bit on the political side, but at least in California, they raised the minimum wage to $20 an hour for fast food employees from maybe high teens it was before. And that goes into effect over time. But it does question what happens, you know. There's only so much I'm assuming you can raise fast food prices. And so do companies look to other ways to make it more efficient. And maybe it's weird at first. Like, I'm sure it's going to be a weird experience. Like, have you gone to McDonald's recently? There's nobody taking the order. There's only those huge mega tablet things, and you punch your order into there. And this is in the last one on a road trip we just stopped, and it was like 3 or 4 of these things. You don't talk to them. The only time is someone comes out to drop off your food.
I mean, I think at scale, right? McDonald's has 7,000 or 8,000 facilities, right? And so if they can reduce 2 employees per facility, right? If they can reduce $80,000 per facility by introducing 2 tablets, it's pretty smart.
Yeah. I do think for a shop, if these can be affordable at some point, these sort of automated robots, and we saw them at the PMI tape facility, they custom built robots to help with packing tape. He said it's not perfect, but it helps waste a lot less time. He was basically able to reassign labor to other areas that made more sense for the business. So higher skill level positions, essentially. You know, could you have more on the account management? Could you have more on the sales side? Are there other areas or verticals that you can dive deeper into the business to be able to do better, because that part is already handled and you don't have to worry about any aspects of it? And so I don't know. I when I think about the elimination of jobs, I do think that it's still like a shift. It's almost like agriculture in a way. People pulling mules and those tills and things through the farmland, and then there's tractors. But guess what? All of those, either retrained or changed, or still someone driving the tractor. Although I have seen some interesting demos of tractors being automatically driven around. There's people repairing them. There's people now working at the factories making them. Things shift around and the economy absorbs it. So anyway, I'm no macroeconomics guy like you guys saw at ThreadX, but I think it's pretty cool. I think it's really exciting.
It's interesting. I think what's also interesting is small businesses adapting it. It's almost like adapt or die. If you are not thinking about technology and you're going to be a very manual place, be prepared. Be prepared when convenience and ease of use can start to be a threat to your business, right? And so today, people are like, oh, I don't, Custom Ink and Printful and these big companies, right? The industry is going to the Amazon way, and you just want to be very thoughtful and conscious of it, because I think it'll happen quicker than we think.
I feel the part that's worrisome, though, is the costing. So the industry definitely has had a previous trend of undercutting. That's the way to try to grow, just like almost any other space. But at the same time, I mean, you've seen the charts. I mean, that I put up on the average sale per order, they haven't kept up with inflation until, COVID forced it, because everyone's COGS and salary and costs went up. Does robotics and automation further put pricing pressure on order value? Like, does it reduce order value because things get more competitive when you've just got robots that are operating half of the production floor? Or does the shop have to further niche down to be able to, allow for pricing that's appropriate, right? Because only folks that can tend to withstand that type of stuff are bigger ones that have economies of scale.
Right. But I'll give you an example. I saw in the DTF forums, can we have one episode where we don't say the word DTF? Well, here it is. I saw in the DTF forums someone bashing stalls for lowering their price of their transfer. They sent out a mass email saying, hey, everyone, we've lowered the price of our transfer by 50, whatever, a percentage. Thank you so much, blah, 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 blah. And one of the guys went on there that runs a garage shop that sells transfers to other shops and goes, they're just undercutting us to steal all of our business, and it's a race to the bottom, and all of these different things. And people are just kind of like shitting on them, right? because Stahl's and companies like Stahl's Supacolor are becoming cheaper, faster, better, right?
Mhm.
And I think Josh Ellsworth, VP at Stahl's, he had a really nice, candid response like, at scale, we have the ability to do these things, and we can pass those savings on to our customers as a strategic move. Can you blame us, right? And I just kind of thought about it like, you can't blame them for doing that. They're just playing on a different planet than we are. These people are working
responses? Did you see the responses?
I think everyone was like, he's like, I think it was a nice professional response. But when you think of these big companies that are playing in hundreds and millions of dollars, right? They don't think the same way we think. They think of these words called like EBITDA and right. They just operate on a completely different wavelength. And so to attack them or criticize them, it's just it's a different league. That's the world we live in. I don't know.
I have a quote here. I want to get your thoughts. This is from Alex Hormozi. He says, "The quality of your business is directly proportional to the quality of the people you hire, which is directly proportional to your character." I heard someone else recently say that your business is a reflection of your, like, the things you care about, your personality, like the things that spark you. For example, I loved product and I loved working on product. I probably was shy on the sales side and didn't invest nearly as much as I should have there because the product side was more interesting. I think a lot of shop owners understand that with more on the manufacturing side, right? Like love like the physical touch of machinery, building stuff, pumping out goods for customers. And, the sales side, I think we will just do the best that we can just because you're the owner. So you have this natural superpower of closing business. But the problem with that is that as time goes by, those are under investments that we should face more head on and to kind of correct and more round out our personality so that the business has that same effect.
I just keep rereading this over and over and over again.
It kind of hits hard.
Oof. Okay. There's two parts of this. The quality of your business is directly proportional to the quality of your people. Let's just isolate that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees there.
I don't think any disagrees. If you have amazing people, you're going to run an amazing business.
Yeah.
Part two, the quality of people you hire is directly proportional to your character. Let that sit for a sec. The quality of people you hire is directly proportional to your character. So if you have a bunch of shitbags working for you, does that mean you're a shitbag?
You heard it here first, people. I think it exaggerates the business, and the people in it exaggerate who you are. And so if you are this type of person, it gets like kind of dragged out and brought into this world as a 10-person team that is an example of you, but at bigger form. And that could be good, that could be bad, or it could just show weaknesses that you have to smooth over.
Okay, let's break this down. I think there's a lot of different there's a lot of different cases. I'm going to pick on a couple companies. I'm going to pick on Justin from Oklahoma Shirt Company. If you've seen Justin at the trade shows, he's got a tribe with him. Usually it's a couple employees, right? Mm-hmm. Saying, or like, he's got an amazing nucleus at Oklahoma Shirt Company. The people around him have been with him. He fosters them. They're part of his family. He nurtures them. They're amazing individuals. And that is a direct reflection of Justin's character. Take that. Now, Justin has maybe 50, 75 employees, all those different people. He might not have a connection to every single one of them, but his goal is that the outer brinks of the company still point back to him. And it's up to the people that he hires to bring really good people around him. Right. Mm-hmm. But I don't think every single person in the organization is a direct reflection of Justin. I think it's your core group of people that are around you. Right. And it's up to those core group of people to do this, to have the same network effect.
But doesn't that core group then also help and hire and retain and want around the same types of people that they are, which was brought on by
A reflection of yourself.
Right.
Yeah. But it's going to be a degree different. It's going to be slightly different. And I think that's okay. You can't take that completely on yourself.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think it's a bad thing. I do think it becomes a bad thing when you will shy away from the things that you aren't necessarily good at and or, may not optimize the most. Again, when I talk about the sales stuff from before, like, I could have had better quotas. Like we could have set that. We could have held people to that. It wasn't just like setting it, but it was also holding people to that. But again, I don't know, kind of shy away from it. Probably not my skill set and ignore it as much. But having a very sales focused person on there would be able to do that, would be able to hold people accountable, would be able to replace if needed.
But this quote is talking about character.
Yeah. I'm taking it to version 2 as well, which is you as a person and the things that you also care about, which part I think is character, but also part is what you're passionate about, gets exemplified in the business too. So yeah, on the character side with people, on the things that you care about and enjoy doing goes into this, maybe the soul of the business too, and then what the business tends to be good at as well.
And so the correction here is to find people of great character that fill the voids that you've created because of the things that you're interested in.
Yeah, I think you're spot on.
Right. And so don't hire familiar, hire unfamiliar, but hire people of amazing character that can help you in unfamiliar areas. Right. And Bruce, we've had our fair share of strikeouts with employees.
Fair share.
Fair share. We could have an entire therapy session
full episode on that.
Employees that didn't work out. If you think of the ones, and let's think about first degree hires, not second degree or third degree. And I want to talk about second and third degree in a second here, because I think there's some importance there. Of your first degree hires, the ones that didn't work out, was it a character thing, a skill set thing? Did you not vet them properly? Did you not manage them properly? Did you hire them desperately? If you could think of a few, what went wrong?
Is there option D, all of the above? I mean, for me,
catfished.
For mine, I'm thinking of the first 30 people were the ones that did not work out. None of them were skill level based. I think the skill level based issues came later, getting to 50 and now, I mean, Printavo companies, 100 to 110 or so. There's skill level and trying to align that, but before definitely was character driven. I mean, just people that actually cared about the work that they were doing, that didn't sort of reject the task at hand, that I didn't trust my gut on going for, that I didn't know at the time on how to hire, because I feel like that's just another skill set that you have to figure out to get better, like to have a higher percentage, higher hit rate rather. And then our last, large hire was also a character issue too that we messed up on. And so, yeah, I personally think that our hit rate got better, as in if I was 1 for 1 for bad hires when I started, which I was I was probably 2 for 3 in bad hires. So 1 for 3 for good. I was like 30% hit rate. I think towards, 30 people, I was probably an 80% hit rate.
After you have gone through and have the battle wounds of letting people go or going through bad character, you become a much stronger hirer, a much stronger employer. Fool me once, shame on me, whatever. Fool me twice. I think, Bruce, when I see Printavo or your early days, you guys hired really slow, but you were also like I specifically think about your engineering team when it was like when it was really hard to hire engineers. You guys were so picky about engineers, maybe over any other role. But I remember you would tell me about Peter and Neil and doing like crazy hard technical interviews and putting them through hoops to jump through. Why was it in engineering that you guys were so picky about hiring?
To be honest, that part was also because the funnel was so difficult. We didn't have very many top of funnel candidates that went into it. So it was also very slow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, we tested for technical chops, but also on the other side, the folks that made it through, we still had a couple bad apples and bad characters. So the tests weren't perfect. They were pretty good, but yeah, they were definitely slower. I almost wondered, could we have opened the funnel and done more on the job type testing and very quickly ran through people that see if they were a good fit or not. So for example, let's say you're hiring someone maybe on the production team. Hey, look, we've got an open work day. Oh, you want to come in? Cool. Talk to them. They seem normal. They passed the basic tests. All right, cool. Hop on, I'm going to pay you for 3 hours, 4 hours of work, whatever it is, and can be able to see. And then I'm going to get a small report card from the person that they were shadowing or working with. And maybe this is on Fridays or whenever the slower day is, if there is such a thing. And could that have been a better solution than trying to increase the hit rate by like more in-depth interviews every time?
Yeah.
We never tested it.
At a certain point, the interviews get redundant. The one thing you can't do is undermine the hiring process. And so I think a lot of times we hired in screen printing early on, I would hire desperately. I need a screen printer, so I'm going to take
every
anyone.
Time you're desperate for a hire,
you always make the worst hire.
You almost triple the chance, that they're just a total dunce and it's not going to work out.
And so if you have a hiring process, I was just talking to someone about this morning, a hiring process is a period of time with different stages, different people, different responsibility, testing for different things. You should open your funnel and make it as wide as possible, right? You should get 100 applicants, 15 of which will set up a phone interview, 10 of them will set up an in-person interview, 1 or 2 of them will actually turn out to be a hire. But if you don't give the hiring process the time that it deserves and it needs, and you rush through it, the byproduct of that is a bad apple. And is that a reflection of your character? No. Right?
You know how you kill desperation out of the process? You involve other team members that aren't managers that don't feel the process. They don't feel the pressure. Because they're not, for whatever reason, the owner's like, I have to do it. The team doesn't feel that. And when they're involved in it, they're going to say they're going to see you. They're good, right? Like right after the person leaves, you guys like them? You're like ready to make an offer.
Are you talking about that owners will always lean into only the positive things future employees talk about?
Yeah, the optimism is bad. Someone told me, as an owner, you're extremely optimistic all the time, and that's great. You want to do the best for the business, and that's what makes it work long term. But with hiring is the one thing that you have to be the opposite. You have to be pessimistic. You have to hunt for red flags. As in, someone says something that's off base, and you wave the red flag up. You need to talk about that and after. Is that a deal breaker that they did that in the interview at stage 1 already and we're not even working together yet?
They took their Juul out and hit their vape in the middle of the interview and said, oops, sorry.
Was that today for you?
No, but I've had that done before. And I'm like, did you just...
Yeah, red flag alert.
They took a smoke break in the middle of their interview? All right. Okay, but let's talk about this. Once an employee starts, how much of it is your job to enforce good character, teach them good character, help them with life stuff, develop them? We're talking about hourly employees in this instance, right? Like I saw a eminent group and we were talking about financial literacy. Like they don't know anything about 401k. They don't know how payroll works. They don't know this or that. Is that a reflection of the owner not doing enough or the reflection of the person not knowing enough? Like, what is your responsibility? What is their responsibility? How much of it is on you as an employer?
I actually think the answer to that changes at the beginning, and especially probably under 10 million in revenue, which is vast majority of us. The responsibility definitely falls more on either management or owner, whoever's their boss. And then I think after that, it becomes very hard to do that, and it becomes more of a machine type of company, as in, look, it doesn't work out, but we've got an HR, we've got a management team, so it's easy to be able to rehire for these roles. And it's a lot more of a repetitive process than it is.
Bruce, I have a question. Who taught you in your life about, we're going down a little tangent, but I appreciate this. Who taught you about a 401k and taxes and payroll and stuff like that? Like, who in your life taught you that? It was the first
job I started to understand. I mean, I think you hear about it a little bit before, but it doesn't mean anything because you're not.
But like, who in your life taught you that stuff?
I'm assuming parents at some point, but I don't remember my mom or dad ever bringing 401k or, how to pay taxes or things like that up. I think it was going through it in the first job of, oh, you have to pick 401k. What does this exactly mean? What are the different types? Why do you have, right. Is it, so like, what is you have this that comes up and then people don't understand it and you have to explain it?
Well, I think our job as employers is to help people with their livelihood. And their livelihood, we spend more time with our employees than we do at home. Mm-hmm. And so it's important to give them a paycheck, but to teach them about life a little bit. Right. And so I was talking, Ron at We Talk Shirty, he's got signage in their break room about how to save money and financial literacy. And he's bringing, it's a part of their company because they work with so many hourly employees that he has taken it upon himself to actually spend time teaching them.
So right? He thinks if they're better at that, then they'll stay longer. They'll
ask better questions. They'll be better they'll be of better character. They'll make better life choices. Yeah. And so I think you have to think hourly employees, they might not have had this experience yet in their life. And it's up to you as their employer to teach them it, right? Or get them the resources. And so I saw that and I was like, damn, like, that's so cool. Mitch from Perrins in Michigan in Grand Rapids also does a lot of this. And my thought is, if we spent time as small businesses nurturing our employees, teaching them about financial literacy, teaching them about PTO, teaching them about 401k, heck, teaching them about investing, would we help their character, right? Would we help them be better people, better employees, all those type of things? I work with a lot of young people. The average age of Campus Inc. of full-timers could be in the mid-20s. And so a lot of times I'll give them the book, I'll Teach You to Be Rich, the Ramit Sethi book, because it's their first credit card, right? Or how do I take out money for taxes? Or how do I do, vision, dental, all those kind of things. So I don't know. I do think. Cool.
Do you guys is that a part of your training per se, similar to the shops you mentioned?
No, it's more just me. It's more just me, just spending time with them and seeing the things they complain about and think about. Right. We've got a lot of employees that have second forms of income. They work at a gym, or they are on Etsy, or, they're an influencer. They do this or that. And I'll ask them like, hey, did you do your taxes right? You got your 1099 straight? Are you thinking about expenses? And, my dad helped me a little bit through that as a business owner. And the impact you make on these people, it pays dividends long term, and they'll be better employees. And so I don't know, that tangent of this Hormozi thing, I think it speaks volumes to it. Is try to run a company where your character actually is living and breathing in the company that you run.
I like that.
I think
that's pretty cool.
I think we all have good intentions. All right, you want to talk EOS for a sec, or what do you want to talk? Where do you want to go from here?
I just think a quick mention of the Stitch engine, and then maybe we'll save EOS and how that works for next time. So this is a website that came up, and I think just in the in the world of the new DGIs and promo hunts and all these other really cool new tech products, this was a cool mention for people to take a look at. So it's stitchengine.io. And essentially, it's an API to let you create digitized files. So you can be able to connect a platform to it and be able to get back digitized files from it. Now, why is this cool? Well, can you imagine, changing a status similar to what you do with maybe if you're using a GraphX, that it sends it over to a person, they re-upload it? Well, could you imagine a world where it sends it to a Stitch engine and it just does it super quickly and it sends it back? Or even at scale. For example, companies that do corporate merch, names, different doctors' names that are embroidered on a lab coat that are being funneled through a Shopify, automatically digitize this through Stitch Engine. And it looks like they've got a couple example companies that do this as well like that.
I'm pretty sure companies like Custom Ink and Printful and the Halos and the big companies have their own internal tooling that do this already. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they've built it out.
But what I think is happening here is Stitch Engine is giving the API, is opening the API for everyday users to use.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, anyone who digitizes, and Bruce, you don't digitize, never digitized a day in your life. My business partner actually still digitizes. He was Corel and Wings Modular and, whatever. If you just send this through the machine, it's like hitting the trace button on AI. There's going to be a lot of things wrong with it, but it could get you 80% of the way there. And I think that's the goal here, is a tool like this at least gets you 80% of the way there, right? It might not tell you when you want to do a satin stitch or jump stitch or running stitch, but it'll at least start your order. And so the way that I look at this is like the trace tool in AI for embroidery. I think it'll get better and better and better over time. I'd be curious to see how it does super complicated designs. But I feel like it's a pretty cool starting point. Who's the founder of this? Is there anything about this?
I haven't seen any They have like a downloadable version, DSTs that you can download to see it.
Right. But this isn't even for users. This is if you know how to use REST API.
Correct. If you are, which I do think more shops are hiring freelance developers to integrate their different systems. And I think this could be an interesting piece of the pie.
Bruce, you should try and figure out who the founder of Stitch Engine is.
All right. Well, we'll start researching.
The question that I have you seen on ChatGPT? Let's see.
You're actually friends with the guy, Daniel Spergel.
I'm pretty active on LinkedIn if anyone connects with me. Oh, he has sent me a DM. Dan?
All right,
we're going to hit you up. Daniel, what's up? Do you want to come on the Printavo pod? All right. We're going to bring Daniel on here and we'll grill him about that. We're going to put a pen in that for a sec. Bruce, have you seen on ChatGPT the sticker app?
No. What is this?
You can say, build me a sticker and order it for me. I think it's through Sticker Mule.
Really?
Yep.
Well, okay, so they say with ChatGPT, one of the next kind of forefronts is with the custom GPTs, like this the screen printing GPT that Marcotte built. With these GPTs, you can also connect other websites to. And so imagine, we were talking about travel before. Hey, I'm looking to going to Costa Rica, sometime in April. What is the best time to go for the best weather, Okay, here's the flight options. Great, thanks. Can you book that for me? That's pretty crazy, right? Especially if they have all your information and boom, it's done. It's an assistant.
So if you go to ChatGPT or chat.openai and you click on Explore GPTs, you can start to see the app store that's opening up. I think, Bruce, is what you're talking about. Right. And so, there are things like, cartoon yourself GPT. You can find, let's see, there's one right here that I just saw.
There's this Printavo analytics bot. That's what I built off of it. Yeah.
There's one called Diagram Show, like create flowcharts, right? Automated writer travel guide. This will be bigger than the App Store, I feel like. Wow, I haven't seen these in a minute. Tattoo GPT helps you with designing your tattoos. Kayak GPT,
Yeah.
right? A fitness and fitness coach. That's pretty nuts. Man, I'm gonna start exploring these.
We're off on a tangent.
No, that's super, super cool. This is good stuff.
All right, cool. We did a little exploratory. I think that's good. We've got a bunch set up for next week. Appreciate you guys listening to the Printavo Print Hustlers podcast. See you on the next episode. Thanks so much for listening. Hopefully that was informative. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications if you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy all the stuff we're putting out, it's really helpful. We love to just be able to see it. That means that we're doing a good job. To subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hit the like button. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.